Starting off with a major development on the international front, India and Russia have just finalized a significant deal for the construction of 6 nuclear power plants on Indian soil. This agreement, sealed during a high-level bilateral summit between the Indian Prime Minister and the Russian President on May 3 in New Delhi, marks a major step forward in India-Russia energy cooperation. The 6 nuclear plants, with a combined installed capacity of 6,000 megawatts, are planned to be built over the next decade. It's a move that aligns with India's broader target to source 40% of its electricity from non-fossil fuels by 2030. Both leaders reaffirmed their strategic partnership, highlighting the importance of long-term, reliable energy collaboration. That said, the deal hasn't been without controversy. Environmental groups have raised concerns, pointing out that nuclear energy, while cleaner than fossil fuels, comes with its own set of risks, particularly in terms of waste management and nuclear safety, areas where India has had mixed reviews in the past. Still, if implemented well, this agreement could be a big boost to India's energy security and its climate change commitments. The road ahead will require addressing those safety concerns and ensuring proper technology transfer, but it's a solid leap toward energy diversification. Moving on to the next news, India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, has announced yet another interest rate hike in a bid to tackle inflation. In its monetary policy update on May 3, the RBI raised the repo rate by 50 basis points, bringing it to 6.25%. This marks the 4th consecutive hike, underscoring how serious the inflation problem has become, particularly with soaring food and fuel prices. RBI governor emphasized that controlling inflation remains the top priority, even if that means short-term pain for the economy. Economists saw this move coming, but there's a growing concern that repeated rate hikes might choke off consumer demand and hinder the recovery from the pandemic-era slowdown. On the bright side, this shows the central bank is determined to bring inflation back within its 2 to 6% target range. Businesses and households can expect borrowing to get more expensive, which could put the brakes on investments and spending in the near term. Whether the RBI will continue with more rate hikes or pause to assess the impact will depend on how the inflation figures trend in the coming months. Now turning to a big policy announcement, the Government of India has officially launched a national electric vehicle policy aimed at accelerating EV adoption across the country. Announced on May 2 by the Ministry of Heavy Industries, this comprehensive plan offers upfront subsidies up to 2.5 Indian rupees lakh for electric cars and 30,000 Indian rupees for two-wheelers. The government also plans to set up 100,000 public charging stations by 2027, electrify all government vehicle fleets by 2030, and provide incentives for local EV manufacturers and skill development programs for EV technicians. The policy is ambitious. By 2030, it targets 30% electric private cars, 70% commercial, 80% two-wheelers, and 50% of buses. Experts are calling it a potential game-changer, but its success hinges on how well it's implemented. There are still hurdles. EVs need to become more affordable for everyday Indians, and we need a dense, reliable charging infrastructure to really see adoption take off. Nonetheless, it's a bold move that supports India's push toward cleaner transportation and reduced oil imports. Staying with economic updates, India has achieved a major milestone in attracting foreign investment. According to a government press release on May 2, India received a record-breaking $110 billion in foreign direct investment during the financial year 2024-25. That's over a 20% increase from the previous year and reflects growing global confidence in India's economic reforms and resilience. Top sectors drawing this investment include electronics manufacturing, renewable energy, digital infrastructure, and pharma. The government's ongoing efforts under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative and its drive to improve ease of doing business seem to be paying off. This is a positive signal for long-term growth, but to maintain the momentum, India will need to keep pushing business-friendly reforms, improve infrastructure, and cut red tape. With the right steps, this could firmly establish India as a top global investment destination. Meanwhile, in the green energy sector, India has crossed a new landmark. Its total installed renewable energy capacity has now surpassed 200 gigawatts as of May 1. That includes 110 gigawatts of solar, 55 gigawatts of wind, 10 gigawatts from hydropower, and another 30 gigawatts from other renewables like biomass and small hydro. The country is clearly progressing toward its target of 500 gigawatts of non-fossil energy by 2030. Experts and environmental advocates have welcomed this development, viewing it as strong evidence of India's commitment to a low-carbon economy. But challenges still loom. like how to better integrate renewables into the grid and develop storage solutions to ensure 24/7 reliability. For now, though, this milestone underscores India's growing status as a global leader in renewable energy. On the healthcare front, a transformative initiative was rolled out on May 1st. The Government of India has launched the National Digital Health Mission, which provides every citizen with a unique 14-digit digital health ID. This health ID will hold an individual's entire medical history, from doctor visits and prescriptions to lab reports and insurance details, all accessible to authorized healthcare providers. The goal here is to improve continuity of care, reduce medical errors, and make healthcare delivery more efficient. The mission will also support telemedicine, digital prescriptions, and paperless insurance claims. Initially, it's being rolled out on a voluntary basis with strong data protection protocols. If scaled up successfully, this could revolutionize healthcare access across India, but it'll require robust infrastructure, digital literacy, and buy-in from both providers and the public. Heading to the global investment scene, India made a splash at the World Economic Forum in Davos earlier this year, securing investment commitments worth a whopping $25 billion. From January 18th to 21st, the Indian delegation, led by the Prime Minister, met with global corporations, sovereign funds, and financial institutions. They pitched India's resilience, business reforms, and rising market potential, and the response was encouraging. Highlights included a $5 billion R&D center by a major U.S. tech firm and a $3 billion green steel plant by a European group. Several private equity firms also pledged significant India-focused funds. Experts say this level of international interest reinforces faith in India's growth story. The key now is converting these commitments into actual investments, which means streamlining approvals, fixing infrastructure bottlenecks, and ensuring strong coordination across government bodies. Switching gears to logistics, India has just launched a national logistics policy aimed at boosting efficiency and reducing the sector's high costs. Currently, logistics eats up about 14% of India's GDP, but the goal is to bring that below 10% by 2030. Announced on April 30th, the policy includes plans for a national logistics portal, multimodal parks, freight corridors, and widespread tech adoption using IoT, AI, and blockchain. It also emphasizes skilling workers and improving regulatory coordination across agencies. Experts say this reform is long overdue and could have major economic benefits: faster goods movement, lower warehousing costs, and better competitiveness in both domestic and export markets. Implementation will be the true test, and it'll require all stakeholders pulling in the same direction. Now let's talk tech. India's ambitions in semiconductor manufacturing are beginning to materialize, with the government securing over $20 billion in investment commitments for domestic chip production. Major global players like Intel, TSMC, and Samsung are on board to set up semiconductor fabs and related facilities in India. This comes in the wake of global chip shortages and a rising need for local manufacturing to support sectors like electronics, automotive, AI, and 5G. Announced by the Ministry of Electronics and IT on April 28, this move is backed by government incentives such as subsidies and tax breaks. While the opportunity is huge, thousands of high-skilled jobs and tech advancement, it's also a complex undertaking. India needs to build a full-fledged ecosystem of suppliers, skilled talent, and robust infrastructure to support the sector. If done right, this could place India firmly on the global semiconductor map. Finally, on the diplomatic front, India has taken over the G20 Presidency for the year 2025. Starting December 1st last year and running through November 30th this year, this presidency gives India a rare opportunity to shape global discussions on sustainable development, economic growth, and digital transformation. The theme is sustainable development and global prosperity, with a strong focus on climate action, energy transitions, digital inclusion, and reforms to international financial institutions. India is also aiming to amplify the voice of the Global South and address development challenges shared by emerging economies. A packed calendar of G20 events, summits, and policy dialogues is underway. This is a major diplomatic moment for India, and experts are closely watching how it navigates competing global priorities and brings nations together for collective action. Success here could further elevate India's global standing as both a responsible power and a leader in inclusive development.